Good morning. Welcome to the February 13th edition of Advisory Live. We're powered by Nasdaq IR Insight, and I'm your host, Will Briganti, coming to you live from the Nasdaq market site overlooking New York City's Times Square. Joining me today as my guest is Chris Anselmo. He's a senior analyst with Nasdaq Advisory Services, and he covers a whole range of companies, financials, healthcare. Chris, welcome to the program.
Hey, great to be here.
All right, so it's February 13th, and that's Mardi Gras. Happy Mardi Gras.
Thank you. Happy Mardi Gras to you as well.
I know you're a proud graduate of Loyola New Orleans, so this must be kind of a bittersweet day for you, not to be down in the Big Easy.
Sure. You know, if I couldn't be at the truck parade, there's no better place to be here at Market Site with the Nasdaq.
Exactly. All right, so before we get into some of our Mardi Gras favorites, let's talk about the markets. Obviously, we've seen some volatile sessions. We were going to talk about markets, volatile sessions, and kind of some party towns, right? So what's your take on some of that?
There's been a big yield backup trade that's really pressuring REITs. The S&P 500 REITs are down about 9% year to date, but we're going to use Mardi Gras as an excuse to kind of talk about some of those party towns that we're seeing growth in Nashville,
Austin, Texas, right?
Texas,
okay. All right. Well, we'll have to maybe save that for
table that one.
We'll have to table that due to some of the volatility. So, Chris, what's your take on sort of what's going on in some of the last sessions?
Sure. So, as you know, we've seen one of the largest downturn in the S&P 500 since 2016.
Yeah.
It's really been a expected downturn is what we're seeing. We compiled a lot of commentary heading into the year from some of the largest mutual fund managers, and they were very cautious headed into the year. Valuations were stretched, and people just looking for an excuse to sell, and that's what it looks like we're seeing. Actively managed investors selling in, computer-driven money following afterwards, and it just seemed like calling for a time for the top of the market.
Interesting. So you're saying that this was sort of overdue.
Correct. And I think it's been we needed to reset pricing for the market because those valuations were growing at an unrealistic pace.
Talk to me a little bit more about those valuations. You said they were growing at an unrealistic pace. Any sort of further insight there?
It's just that we've seen a great outperformance in the market in 2017. We were up about almost 6% in January, and the markets were just growing higher than the expected earnings that were coming in.
Chris, you and the team at Nasdaq Advisory Services, you work with about 1,700 clients globally. So what are you seeing there?
Sure. We get a unique perspective on these macro events because we're looking at the trade settlement from, as you said, 1,700 clients. So, everyone's trying to point to a single reason behind this downturn, and what we're finding is that there isn't one, right? So in some situations, we're seeing large institutional selling causing the price pressure. Sometimes it's forced selling from ETFs, could be shorting. So essentially, we look at each specific incident and tell our clients what's going on and why their specific stock is down.
Okay, and obviously I'm sure you get some intense insight around earnings season. So what's happening with bank earnings right now?
Sure. Bank earnings have been mostly positive. There's a lot of tailwinds heading into the year. Outside of your regular tax noise that we're hearing, but again, mostly positive with lower tax rate and rising interest rates, as well as more favorable trading conditions.
Chris, all right, well, we'll have to leave it there for now. Thank you very much for joining me on Advisory Live for Mardi Gras.
Very excited to be here. Thank you.
All right, so do you have any special Mardi Gras plans tonight?
I just recently had a son.
Oh, that's right.
Today.
Congratulations.
Little Teddy, how you doing? So we'll probably sit down having a beat of amber and watch some parades.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna have some gumbo from the Gumbo Bros over on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. Thank you so much for joining me on Mardi Gras, Chris.
Thank you.
And thanks for tuning in to the February 13th edition of Advisory Live. We're powered by Nasdaq IR Insight. You can find more information on Nasdaq IR Insight and our advisory services team at our website. That's at business.nasdaq.com. I'll be back to you with another edition on Thursday.